Welcome back to the 25 days of puppy Christmas card ideas, where we're helping you decide what you're going to do for your dog Christmas cards this year. This one is incredibly fun. All you need is a string of lights and your dog.
The 25 days of puppy Christmas card series can be done with one or many dogs, created with a traditional camera or your phone, done in your house or outside, and range from elegant and refined to fun and quirky, so there's a fit for everyone. And don't forget, these photo shoot ideas also make for great social media advent calendars, even if they aren't all going to be used on your Christmas cards. If you're using a traditional camera, I recommend you set up a remote shutter release through a clicker or an app on your phone so you can take photos from where you're posed. If you're using your phone, I recommend you set it to cinematic video and take screenshots of the best frames after, since pups tend to move around a lot and you don't want to stress over missing the shot. Each of these episodes is designed for a specific card template that will link in the caption, but you can use this on whatever template works best for you.
For this one, you are just going to wrap yourself and your puppy in your Christmas lights. You can stand in front of a tree if you want. You want to make sure that if you are, you're lower on the tree so that it covers more area, because it's very easy to block that Christmas tree. And then you just need to wrap your pup and yourself in the lights. You can do it in front of a blank wall. You can do it in front of a curtain, whatever's going to work best for you. And then you're able to pose with your puppy. Now, don't do this for too long because the lights will get a little bit warm, but you want to start off by wrapping it around yourself first, then your puppy. If you're holding a small dog, always start with you, then start with your puppy. If you're sitting, do your own lights first usually, and then wrap them around your dog, especially if your dog tends to run away. But it's a really easy way to take a very cute little picture. And you can even play around with it and hold the lights out toward the camera, move them at different angles. You can hold different strings. I do recommend tying the end of the string of lights and looping it around your neck so it kind of sits around your shoulders and your chest so that it stays on you and doesn't fall off. But man, these are easy to fall off, so you're going to want to string a couple of things around you and then have some that you can just kind of toss over your shoulder and drop your hand to take that picture. Don't drag it with you like I just did. But you can kind of play with it like that. The more lights you have up top, the better it's going to look.
Drop your photo into Photoshop or whichever photo editing platform you are going to be using, and start with your local retouches, meaning you're going to sharpen any eyes. If you need to sharpen those just a tiny bit, don't go too much or it will look really weird inside of your image. If you need to use your spot heal tool to get any stray fur pieces on you or your dog, you can do that. And then, of course, your spot heal tool if you need to remove any of those dark shadows under your eyes, 28% opacity. We've talked about this in all of the other videos, so make sure you go check those out. Then we are going to do our color adjustments. We're going to go into a brightness and contrast panel. Maybe you're going to need to bump up your brightness just a little bit, your contrast just a little bit. Depending on how you photographed it, you're going to need to do different levels of it. We talked about it in other videos. I'm actually going to make my face just a tiny bit brighter, so I'm just going to lasso that, and I'm just going to bump that up just the tiniest bit, a little more contrast, and then on a soft round brush 100% opacity, I'm going to go ahead and tap that on. Maybe I'm going to lower that just a little bit so that I am on the same brightness level as the puppy. The puppy's bright, bright, bright here, so I needed to make myself a little brighter. You can always make your hair a little more shiny. You can either use that brightness and contrast and do just a basic bump of that contrasty colors, but I also really love using the dodge and burn tool for that. We've talked about that in other videos on the main channel. Now, there are a couple of different ways to do this. We've talked about it in other videos. This is a really easy way. You're just going to duplicate that background. You're going to select your subject, and if it misses anything, you're going to use your lasso tool, holding the shift button down to grab anything that it missed, or if it added a little bit too much of that extra background, just use your option button to subtract it. And then you are going to put a layer mask over this, add a new layer in between those layers, and then grab your paintbrush tool. You're going to pick a color that's kind of glowy. Mostly I am going to use a white color here because that bounces off of what the tree lights would be, and you can kind of see how I'm just painting that on, just on where the wall is, not necessarily where the curtains are. And then we are just going to change that blend mode down to color, and we're going to reduce the opacity significantly, so it's just got a little bit of a glowy color behind it. Add a new layer, and then we're going to match the color of each individual light bulb, and on a very large round soft brush 100% opacity, you're just going to tap it on the color that is going to match it, and you're going to lower the opacity of that level. Now you can see how it's making it glowy. Maybe that's a little bit too much of a glow for me, so maybe I actually need to erase that and try again with a smaller brush. So you're just going to figure out what it is that is going to make it the appropriate level of glow, and then you're just going to go around and you are going to tap on each of them. You can add a little bit more if you need to. You can kind of see how we are just filling this out just a touch, and you can do the ones on the trees behind you. If you happen to be using trees, you can be changing up those colors however you need to match whatever part of the glow you are working with. Some of those two-tone lights, you may have to do a double tap, so green and red on it, and then you can just highlight however you need it. If it's too much, you just keep backing down the opacity until it's the correct amount. And if at any point you find that some of the lights, like the lights in the background, are too much, just add a layer mask over it, lower the opacity on your brush, and go ahead and remove part of those by using that soft round brush so that they glow in the background but not quite as much as the glowiness up front. Then you can drop your image into the template and you've got lots of room to write your message here. You want to go with something that's like merry and bright, or something that has to do with the lights or the starlight of Christmas, and you can really play into that light element. Make sure you've got lots of room for your message here, or you can of course write it on your back, and if you like this particular template, I will drop that down below for you in the caption as well, and you'll be good to go.
For this card, you can either make this a single image, or you can make this a multiple image where you got 4 of them in a row on a little template, and you can do different poses, so you can get kind of silly with this with your puppies as you're taking different images. And then the closer up you have this, the better you're going to do, especially if you're doing a multi-image card for this. If you like the template that I have created, I will link that down below for you to grab, and come back for 24 more ideas that you can be using on your social media and for your Christmas card. So 1 idea for your Christmas card, 24 for your social media advent leading up to it, and then the 25th day will be the reveal of your big Christmas card with your puppy this year. We've got lots of great ideas, and we'll see you in the next episode.